Hi, welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I'd like to show you how I did this little card, just to let you know also, this is actually for my mother-in-law's birthday. It's her birthday tomorrow, and I thought I'd make her something with a difference. A different card. I usually give her flowers on cards, and I thought, well, this is something different. This is actually a relatively new stamp set for me. I've only had this one for a little while. It was with my last delivery that I got about a week or two ago. I know it's an old stamp set, but well, I say old, it's a couple of years or more old, but I've only just recently got it, only in the last week or two. I've been waiting to get it for a very long time. Actually, I was surprised when I did get it. I thought that the elephants would have been a bit bigger than what they are, but they are quite tiny. So I really was quite surprised. So I've actually stamped both of the elephants, all the elephants, and the items that I wanted to use. I didn't use the little bow or one of the hats. I only used one of the hats that was stamped. I didn't use both of them. And now I'm just cutting out all the letters to make the word Happy Birthday. I actually cut out 3 lots of white and 1 coloured to stack them up so that there's quite dimensional on the card. So I only show cutting 1 lot there. And this is the colour I've chosen to use, which is actually Abandoned Coral. It's one of the distress inks. And I found that while I was doing it, there's actually what appears to be some white embossing powder that's been heat set onto that piece of paper. Either that or maybe I've touched it with a bit of a white pen, I don't know. So I was trying to avoid putting the letters there. So that's what I sort of stopped and looked at there while I was actually colouring. And I do have to cut out double up of some of the letters, because there is some of the letters are actually doubled up. And just cutting those through. Now I won't bore you with doing all of this. I actually only show you doing 1 letter. It does take about 1.5 to 2 minutes to do 1 letter. That's stacking up the 3 white and 1 pink or coral on top to make up the 1 thickness that I need. It does take quite a while, so to do all of these took roughly about half an hour or more, perhaps, I'm not sure. So I don't bore you with all that. I didn't actually even record all of that, but I know it did take a fair while. And then once I've done that, once I'm happy with that and that they're reasonably clean of glue, I actually put them underneath a block just to squeeze them down and wait till everything's done before I put them aside. And that's pretty much the H done. Of course I have to do a second one of those later on. Okay, well there they all are done. That's I wish I could have done them in that shorter time, the whole lot, but if I was going to mass produce this card, I certainly wouldn't probably do it this way with multiple cuts of the watercolour paper. I would probably just go with the fun foam and just do it that way, so there would only be 1 cut of fun foam and one cut of watercolour stock. Now here I'm doing the background, the clouds. Now where I'm putting this first row of clouds, and then the row down further, not the one above this but the one down further, this is where I'm actually using these clouds to sit the letters on top of. So that first row that I've done, that's where the happy will be, and the row that's coming up down here, that's where the word birthday will be placed on top of those clouds. I'm only putting those there as a guide first before I fill in everything else, so I know that I've actually got myself set up properly for those, and then I do all the rest of the clouds. I'll show you that background shortly. I'm using a lawn fawn stitched hillside border here, just one of the small slopes, not one of the bigger slopes. I don't have the other ones. This is all I've got, is these ones. Oh, and that tape didn't want to stick for some reason, so I pull out another one. Those tapes have been used a few times, that's why it didn't want to stick. And just run that through in a moment. When I actually colour that, I just colour that with the Mowed Lawn Distress Ink, and I actually do bend it a couple of times too, but it doesn't really matter, because where I've bent it, I think the elephants are going to be pretty much sitting on top of it anyway, so it really doesn't affect it. That's when I'm actually colouring it. I might actually put some music on now, and if you want to just watch and see how you like the card in the end. Okay, I'll put the music on. Thanks, I'll be back soon. I'm just back briefly. Just thought I'd let you know the colours that I've used. The balloon I used on that one was the same as the letters, which is the abandoned coral. On the little elephants themselves, the main colour that I'm using is actually the pumice stone. Inside the ears is worn lipstick, and on the toenails of this particular one here I put worn lipstick on the toenails of that one. And on the balloon, the background, the sky background, I think that was Broken China or Salty Ocean. I'm not sure which one of those I used, but you could use whichever one you felt was right for the occasion. If you want something a bit less bright, use something like whichever one, tumbled glass, I suppose. And for the cheeks, I actually use worn lipstick for the cheeks as well, I believe, which is done after they're completely dry, and I just dry brush that on. I do show how I do the dry brushing. The dry brushing is just as I've explained on other videos, but I'll explain it again now. You take a dry brush, you make sure that your paper is dry, and you take a dry brush, fill it up with as much ink as you can possibly put into it so you got the colour. Then you wipe off the moisture onto a paper towel, onto a dry paper towel, so you're really only left with colour in the brush, not much moisture, and then you use that. So you've got very little moisture in there, and that's called dry brushing. So technically it's not exactly dry, but is as dry as what you'd be able to get any colour out of, I'd expect. So that'll come up soon, so when you see me with a brush with pink on the end of it and wiping it on a tissue, you'll know what I'm doing. Okay, well, I'll be back soon again. Hi, I'm back again. I hope you enjoyed the music. As I've said before, all the music in all of my videos is my son doing all the music. He does all the instruments himself. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just putting down all the pieces. I've already, as you can see, laid it all out the way I wanted it and making sure it would fit. The first card that I did of this one, which you'll see that one a little bit later on, which is actually green instead of the coral. I've got it as in green. I don't know how I managed to do it, but the other one I managed to get it so that the T on birthday was the one that the elephants were handing up to each other and placing, but this one for some reason I had to do it with the H. I'm not sure what happened there, whether I actually had it further over or but it doesn't matter really. I mean, you could probably make up a series of these cards and have one elephant building the whole happy birthday, have a whole series of them. So this one here is just putting up the little Y at the end there. I do actually come in with that little hat that's there too later on and actually stick that on the side of the A, so it's sort of just hanging off the A. This is putting the B on now, that's right, for birthday. Now the I. I'm just using the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium all the way through this, and then when I come to glue the stick the panel down, I use the Scotch ATG gun. Those are pretty much my go-to type of glues now that I use. I don't seem to use anything else now. Of course, if I want to do some glitter glue or something later on, I'll probably use a different type of glue again, but at this point I haven't actually bothered to use any of that. And as you can see, I'm trying to follow the contour of the cloud, the top of the cloud, so actually sticking the little letters on top of the clouds, although that one there, because that one's still being placed into place by the two elephants, it's sort of not quite in the right spot yet. I was originally only going to use two of these elephants, like the little hanging one and that one there with the little trunk up in the air. And I thought, well, they're such darling little elephants, I have to use all three of them. So that's why I decided the other one can be just sitting on the end there with the last letter on his nose and or his trunk, and trying to put it up there. So that's what I've done with that one. So they're all helping each other. Oh yes, and of course the balloon was overhanging, so I've got to snip that off. I have got other balloons that I would have preferred to have actually used, but that was the only large round one that I've got. And there's the two cards, and as you can see on the first one, the green one, is actually the T that they're handing to each other, but on the second one it's the H, but it's neither here nor there. But as I said, otherwise they're the same card except for the colour. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please subscribe and give it the thumbs up, and I will have more coming soon. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.